Good day, YouTube. It is the 16th of March, 2023, and this is the model and code information off of a 21 horse Briggs Stratton single overhead valve engine that I got for free. It came right off the ground, just sitting between a couple of ride mowers that I also got for free. And we did a video on it. Basically, will it run? And during that process, we realized that this little engine has too much compression to turn over. And some of the clues were when it got the engine up on the bench, I realized that the starter gear was practically gone. And we've almost ruined this one because basically it takes more starter effort to turn it over when the compression is so high than the starter's capable of. So what we now have is an engine that has a bad compression release, or at least that was my diagnosis at the time. So I ordered a new cam. If you're unfamiliar, the cam has the compression release mechanism built into it, and I'll show you how it works. So obviously this is the cam, these are the cam lobes, these are the tappets, this is what pushes on the push rods, which goes up into the rocker arms, which then opens and closes the valves. So it's going in this rotation. When the tappet or lifter, whatever you want to call it, rolls over this little arm right here, see this arm? It bumps up. This would be the exhaust valve. So it drains off a little compression when it goes over this arm right here. Okay, when the engine gets up to speed, this is a flyweight. Okay, and the flyweight goes outwards as the engine goes faster, and now this hump now has a flat spot on it. So when the valve goes over it, it no longer releases a little compression. So it brings the compression back up once the engine's running. So bump, engine RPM, no bump. So what we have is this. We will find, most likely, like 99% sure that these parts are laying in the bottom of that engine. Okay. Done another video on a almost new tractor that a church owns, and yep, it was broken. Found it in the bottom of the engine. So it's not a huge job to put one of these in if you are equipped for it and you got the time and the mindset to want to replace it. So this kit, gasket, lifters, couple seals, and the new cam was $32 on Amazon. Not going to throw a link in there, but go to Amazon, put your engine number in. That's why we started off this video showing you where the engine numbers are, right on the top of the valve cover, to be sure you get the exact right parts for yours. This is a pretty common occurrence with the big Briggs singles. Okay, if you got one and it sounds like the battery's dead, but the battery's new, like, yep, too much compression, 99% chance this is it. You would want to check make sure the valves aren't tight, or loose rather. So think about this for a sec. If the valves are too loose, like you've got a lot of gap between the tappet and the cam, when it rolls over, okay, it's too loose to actually open that valve at all. So if you've got 20-30 thousandths gap where you should have 8 thousandths gap, this little hump right here ain't gonna do you no good, and that could be your compression problem. So you want to check your valve clearance first. If your valve clearance is okay, which we did on this engine in that first video, you can go find that video. It's just like 6 or so videos back. We did check and make sure that the valve clearance was okay on this engine. We did adjust them slightly. We did check it. We tried to start that so many times with that brand new plastic gear that I put on that starter that gear is just about shot. So I ordered a bunch more, have them on the shelf. So, well, what do you say we start taking this engine apart and let's put that cam in there. The idea is make this engine run and use it for something. And believe it or not, I didn't get them all at the same place, but I have a total of 3 of these engines, and they're all 21 horse. This was missing a bunch of parts. In fact, it basically showed up just like this. It was covered in dirt and mud. In fact, the center hole on the crankshaft still got dirt in it because it was sitting in the dirt. So I had to scare up an intake manifold, an airbox thing. That carburetor's obviously shot, so there's a brand new carburetor that I bought for this. So I got a couple bucks wrapped up in this. There was no cowl on it, so I've got that cowl off of one of the other 21 horse engines. Oh, and the dipstick tube was gone, so we pulled one of those off one of the other engines. So I only have enough parts that I just showed you for 2 complete engines. I don't have enough for 3. And if you go on like eBay and stuff, try to buy these parts, you'll spend more money than the engine is worth. So my hope is to get this one running and one of the other ones running. And that's basically all I have parts for to make them complete. The other can just sit around. We might see if we can get it to go or something, and then it will just be parked for a future project. Say we get one in that's got a bad crank, you know, the block is broke or something, then we'd have an engine with all those bolt-on parts, and we could make another one complete down the road. So without further, let's see about taking this thing apart. I said I have done one. I think it's been like 2 years ago. So, you know, I don't have the greatest memory in the world. So we're going to get into this one. What I've done so many other things between that last one and this one. It's going to be like doing it for the first time, is what I'm saying. Wow, that's a long bolt. So far, they're the same length. I did drain the oil out of this. The brand new oil I put in it, I drained out. That's the oil pump. I don't think we need to get into that. That is nice they made them all the same and the same length. What do you think? Think it'll pop off of there? Let's find out. Let's smack it with a plastic hammer. It changed its tone. You always wait till you're beating on it to double check, see if you left any bolts in it. You know what? Something in the back of my mind is saying there's a bolt behind that cover. It's like deja vu, like I've already done this once before. Let's pull that cover off. Watch there not be one. Nope, there's not. Just the oil pump. And it looks great. Alright. I'm going to stick it back on. How's that? At least one bolt. Alright. Commence the beating. Excuse me. It's moving. It's moving. Why is it taking so much force to pull that off of there? I heard parts. Oh yeah. Yeah. You hear him falling around in there? Okay. Want to be sure we don't have any other carnage going on in there too. Carnage. All right. Well, that's just the pump drive right there. But there's the. Remember that fly weight I just showed you on the new cam that flies out? Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. This is the oil pump drive. That'd be a little tricky because it drives off the cam right there. This is the governor. The governor. It looks fine. Yeah, these are plastic teeth or nylon teeth or whatever, and there was metal running around in there, so you want to look at them. Make sure it didn't get some of the teeth whacked off of there or something. Oh, we do got to pull the valve cover off and relieve the tappets, right? Maybe. Maybe not. Can I pull this out without it? Yeah. There is a little rust in this machine, by the way. I told you I pulled this thing off the ground. See how the whole apparatus is missing? It's gone. It's gone. Yep. So I'm going to fish around in there with a magnet and get the rest of the stuff out of there. See that rust? Oh, it just wipes out though. Oh, that'll be easy. But some metal had to rust because the aluminum doesn't rust. I don't know. Governor. There's a piece. That's the spring. What's left of the spring? But there's more to it in here. Okay, here's the bump itself. I did have new oil in this thing, and I just drained it out. I was a little sad that I was draining out brand new oil, but with all the metal that could be running around in this thing, I'm not so sad anymore. This engine's very clean inside. I bet it's had almost no hours on it. Okay. So, probably going to spray it out with some brake clean or something. I think there might be some debris down in that corner. Let me get a smaller magnet. Going fishing. Oh yes. See there? That's more of that spring and the pin. This is the part that broke. It's the pivot pin that broke. There's another piece. the carnage. There's a little bit of rust in the bottom side of the cylinder because water got into the crankcase. So we'll spray this out, do the best we can. I don't think it's hurt anything. The business side of the cylinder is above the rings, so it would depend on the piston's position, and this engine was not stuck. So I think it's just some residual water stuff there. All right, we got all the garbage cleaned out, the rust cleaned out. We'll scrape these gaskets off of here. A razor scraper works pretty good. So let me work on these gaskets for a little bit. We'll get all this cleaned off. We'll get ready to put some new parts back in it. We'll make something that didn't run. Alright, we got some stuff done. We're back on this thing. Let's pull these lifters out. Or tappets out, whatever you guys call them. They're lifters as far as I'm concerned because they lift the push rod. Set them aside. We're going to put some engine assembly lube on the new ones. Before we put them back in their guides. Come on. Come on. Oh, I think I was trying to put it in the wrong hole. There we go. And the other one. Again, some engine assembly lube. A little lubrication. And then the camshaft. We want to lube this up as well. You could just use motor oil too, but I have quite a bit of assembly lube. It's what I prefer. All right, we slid this out of there with them in there, but we're gonna have to line up the time gears here, and I might need to take a moment for that to do that. Really getting ahead of myself here. I know I get the cam out without the valve train all out, but I'm not getting it back in. So we'll pull the valve cover again. Again, being that when we first diagnosed this, we did check valve clearance and set them to be sure that wasn't the issue. And it wasn't. Also reveals just how clean this engine is. It's real nice. All right, we got to get a couple tools here, and we'll just loosen up and get the push rods out so that the lifters will go up. All right, we grabbed a T20 Torx. This is the lock nut inside. Okay. Changing my ratchet. Okay, and a 5/8 wrench, you won't need it because it should be finger tight, but you'll need it to set them when we go back together. aluminum on top. Sometimes this is steel. The exhaust is steel. Yeah. Yep, that's the case here. So aluminum is intake, steel exhaust. Now then, we can line up our timing marks and put the cam in. All right, so we got the cam set in there. We got the timing marks aligned. Do you see that? So there's the tooth on the crank lined up with the dot on the cam. Okay, should we put the governor back in? Or should we do a governor delete? No, we're not going to do that. What to do with it? Did I bury it? I sure did. That's not cool. Alright. Alright, that'll be a little tricky when we get to put the sump back on it. Let's throw those push rods back in, get those out of the way. We'll just finger tight them for now until we get assembled, and then we'll set the valves. So, steel on the bottom. Yep. Aluminum on the top. There we go. I could watch the lifter move. I know I am hit it. I know I hit it. Sure nice and oily. Okay, finger tight. I'm going to use some ultra black silicone gasket. Just a little. A dab will do you. Keeping that gasket in place is very difficult if you don't. It had a little on it. And I don't know if this engine's been apart before or not. I kind of doubt it. So what it had would have been factory. All right, let's grab that gasket. Of course, for shipping, they kind of wadded this thing up a little bit. I tried to flatten it out over the last couple days. That's why we're siliconing. And it's a good seal. The trick now is when you put this thing back together is lining up the oil pump drive shaft. So that's why I'm going to put one bolt back in it. Probably going to have to take it apart to spin it to get it to drop. And then keeping the gub and the pushing on there, it's got to line up with something on that cover to hold it in place. Alright, I'm going to put a little silicone on the sump itself. Now I'm going to grease up this drive shaft with an idea that it might help hold it in place, so it don't fall out. It's probably going to anyway, but I'm making an effort. Not going to hurt anything. I'd like for it to stay where it is. It's also an opportunity to put a new seal in. That's up to you. This showed no signs of leaking. I cleaned this up. It's got a lot of oil and stuff on it right now. I'll look at it when I pick this up. But it is an original, factory original seal, and I just got a made in China kit. So you see where I'm going. It's use your judgment on that. If you want to put the seal in, go for it. Seal looks really good. Just gonna put a little more assembly lube on it too. Okay. And I want to pull the oil pump cover off. Oh boy. I could have left that on loose. I could have just popped it right off. Oop, there went the drive shaft. Best laid plans. Might have to go to axle grease to keep it in there. Where'd it go? It's probably okay if I don't rattle on it. Now I push the pump out. Smooth move. Okay. You know what? I'm remembering now. Let's take the drive shaft all the way out. Let's put this together and we'll put it together later. That's what we did last time. Sorry, I got a good memory, but it's my recall is poor. So now we're ready to put this thing together. I'm watching for the governor. Alright, this is difficult to film, but we'll try. Lightly tapped. We're good. Alright. Pick you guys up. Probably put that oil pump back together. Why I was thinking I had to line that up. But, like I said, it's been a minute. There. Now, we'll put that cover back on. Nice and clean. .5/16, guys. We're not tightening that up with an impact. Recipe for disaster. Click, click, click. All right. Okay, I'm going to clean these bolts up just a little bit, all right? All right, the bolts are clean. They're all kind of started. We'll speed handle them down. I usually prefer hand tool assembly versus a cordless tool assembly. If something's not right, you can feel it. The machine doesn't know. You can feel you're still sucking down the cover or if she's tight, bottomed out, all that stuff. Cross-threaded, whatever. I'm sure there are torque specs for these. I don't know what they are. If you're not experienced, I suggest you find out. If you are, use your right hand torque wrench. Click, click, click. Mine's working. Okay. Should switch stands for this thing, do the valves. And just like that, it's all back apart again because I got the wrong timing mark. And I need to show this to you so y'all don't make the same mistake. So I had lined up this mark here, which looked so pronounced. Come on, phone, focus for me. There we go. That mark there, that tooth, so pronounced. Nope, it's a dot. See that? Dot to dot. Anyway, I got to take it back apart again. All right, let me stick this back together and we'll go for valve adjustment. Needed to show you I make mistakes. All right, I got the intake valve done. I set them at 8. It's a little bit loose, but it's good enough for now. Again, we're just loosening the set screw. This is a 5/8 wrench. Oh, let's start it. Okay, when one valve is shut, the other is open. So what we want is the valve completely shut. So we're going to close, excuse me, we're going to open this valve so that we can close this valve. Okay, so this one's open, this one's closed, so we can set our gap. Yep, all right. So this is the lock. But it has to be open. Oh, geez. I'm going to have to redo that because I had 2 feeler gauges stuck together. Okay. So typically intake is 5 thousandths and 5, 6, 7, 8 thousandths on the exhaust. The exhaust gets hotter, it expands more. Loose until we get some drag. Then hold this best you can while you tighten the lock nut in the middle. Double check it. Yep. Okay. Double check. Okay. Now, I had feeler gauges stuck together, so we're going to do this one again. So we're going to open this valve so this one is shut. We'll loosen the lock. Wish I had 3 hands. I'm going to loosen until I get some drag right there. Double check. I want it a little tighter. I want it a little tighter. Still want it a little tighter, but I'm tightening my lock at the same time. Wow, now it's way off. No, not bad. Want it tighter. There we go. Very good. All right, valves are set. Let's stick the valve cover back on it. Upside down? No, it was upside down when I got it. And all the writing, you know, all the model number and codes and all that stuff are on the top of the valve cover. So it took me a while to figure out what kind of engine this was, because it was so dirty and I was too lazy to flip it upside down or right side up. So I finally took a picture so I could figure out what kind of engine I had here. Alright, valve cover on, let's tighten it. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are going to end this video here. It's getting long. And we'll do basically a part 3 on this, where we put an intake manifold on it, put the new carburetor on it, and get enough stuff on it, put a spark plug back in it, and get this thing ready and fire it up. Got to put some oil in it, and etc. So we've got a little work to do yet before it runs. Like I'm confident now it'll run. And so that'll be in the next video. Guys, thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing. Thumbs up on the way out. Hey, I've got a routine now. I'm returning comments every morning. So if you comment today, for the most part, tomorrow morning, I will respond. How's that for fun? I am enjoying that. It's just a matter of me setting the time aside to do it, and getting it into a routine, which I have done. So we're having fun with that. So if you want to comment on this or any other video, do that. I'll get back to you tomorrow. All right. Thanks, guys. See you on the next video.